Thank you so much for purchasing a wooden stenciled ornament kit to support the Kaukauna Public Library's foundation and our winter fundraiser, Planters for a Purpose. Your gift to the library will help support our interactive learning garden and all of the events that we are able to bring into that space. Today, I am going to show you how you can make your own wooden stenciled ornament kit. In the kit that you received from the library, packaged just like this, whether it was a gift to yourself or to someone else, you'll have 3 wooden ornaments, 3 colors of paint to use, 2 different paint brushes, 3 pieces of decorative ribbon, and 3 pieces of twine for hanging your ornament, and a set of 6 stencils. Now, before you begin, you'll be able to cut these apart and then choose whether you want to make 3 ornaments or 6 ornaments with 2 sides. From your house, you'll need just a little bit of water for cleaning your brushes, along with some paper towel, and then an X-Acto knife or seam ripper, something with a small point that we'll use to remove portions of the stencil. All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera and we'll get started making our stenciled wooden. There are printed instructions in your kit that you can follow along with, but for this video tutorial, we'll walk through step by step how you can finish your project. Our first step is going to be to choose the color for the background of our ornament. So you do have black, red, or white to choose from. There are some samples in the printed instruction, but you can choose any color that you like. For this project today, we are going to select black. So with my paintbrush here, I'm just going to paint just about to the edge, leaving a sliver of that wood color behind it, a circle here. And you could follow the grain in the wood to help guide the shape of your circle as well. We're going to paint 2 layers of our background color, making sure that we let the paint dry fully in between each layer. All right, so our base is all dry and now we are ready to select and apply our stencil. In your kit, you had 6 different stencil options. So you can choose to do 1 stencil per side, just one stencil per ornament, or do a stencil on each side so you have reversible ornaments. So we just need to cut our ornaments apart so that we can apply them, cut our stencils apart so we can apply them to the ornament. We are going to go ahead and start with our, let's do joy for this. So in your ornament, your stencil, you have 3 layers. The first is a white backing paper, and then the blue stencil vinyl, and then also a piece of clear contact. And the clear contact is what we use to move all of those little central pieces onto our ornament. So before we place our stencil, we need to remove that white backing paper. The easiest way to do that is just to flip it over, peel it back, and then diagonally remove the white from the blue, making sure that any of those small pieces in the center of letters are staying stuck down to that clear contact paper. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and place our stencil, so centering it, making sure that the hole for the hanger of the ornament is at the top. Place that down centered, and then you'll press it down firmly, starting in the middle and then working your way out so you don't have any air bubbles in your stencil. And now we need to remove the contact paper from the stencil itself. So find a little corner of your contact paper, get that separated, and then very gently pull back the contact paper from that blue stencil vinyl, paying particular attention when you get to the center that those small pieces stay on the ornament. And if they would come up, then you'll just put it back down, rub firmly again to make sure it sticks, and then continue to pull the contact paper off. At that point then you may want to just go through, make sure all of the edges of the stencil are stuck down so you don't have paint that bleeds through underneath. And now we're ready to stencil. You need very little paint. It's a small project. And for this, rather than swiping across, we're going to stipple up and down. So I like to just put a little bit of paint in the middle there and then just stipple my paint in. You can use the side of the brush too to fill it in a little bit more quickly, but we're using that up and down motion so we don't, we minimize the probability that there's going to be some bleed underneath our stencil. And just like with the base layer, we are going to do 2 layers of our stencil color. However, we're not going to let it dry fully. We want it to still be a little bit damp when we pull the stencil off, so we don't pull as much any of the background paint off. So we're going to let this dry just for a minute, so it's a little bit tacky, and then we'll add a second layer to make that color more solid. All right, I've got my second layer of paint on there. It's dried just a little bit, but not all the way. And now I'm going to remove my stencil. So just like we removed the white paper and the contact paper diagonally, we'll remove the stencil from the ornament in the same way. So just very gently, diagonally, pulling that stencil off, trying to get it to come up as one piece. But if it doesn't, if it rips a little bit, that's okay. We're gonna go through and pull out our smaller pieces here in just a moment. There we go. So you'll see the center of my O is still left behind. This is where your seam ripper or X-Acto knife is going to come into play. In this case, I have a tool designed specifically for this task, but anything with a pointed or sharp edge will work. All we are doing is finding just one corner of that center piece, and we're gonna just pull up just enough to give us something to grab onto, and then we'll pull it off. At this point, if you had any, like here I've got a little bit of white paint that came through, or if any of the paint would have pulled up, you can go through and touch that up, but I'm happy with how this looks. So now I'm ready to add my hanger. So in your kit, you have your twine and then also a piece of ribbon. We'll use the twine to hang it. So slip that through. And tie just an overhand knot. I like to pull that around so it will be hidden in the back and you have that nice loop there. And then with your ribbon on the front, you can tie just a plain knot and trim that and leave it hang like that, or add a small bow. If you have other ribbon at home that matches your tree or your decor better, obviously feel free to use that. Or if you don't like the look of the ribbon, you can exclude that part. Or if you have if you wanted to use the ribbon to hang it and leave the twine out. We provide you obviously with just the basics, but make whatever you think you like best and whatever fits within your decor as well. Just trim that a little bit. And then our ornament is all finished. You'll see we also have the snowflake. If you wanted to do white with red, in this case I have two-sided, so here I've got red with white. There you go. Thank you so much, and enjoy creating this fun project.